Welcome back, life travelers, to another video by Ricardos Travels.
One is for you to be happy. Give me a chance to show that you can be. Well, open your eyes and see the way I see. 'Cause all that I want is for you to be happy with me.
Hello everyone, this is Ricardos with Ricardos Travels, and today I'm celebrating Easter and rejoicing in the new COVID-19 data that's coming out because it gives us hope. It's telling us it's not near as bad as we thought it was going to be, and we're having way fewer deaths than were projected. So all that's good information, and I'm going to roll in dozens of other ways that gives me hope, and I hope gives you hope, that we're all going to return to our normal lives very soon. So what I hope to do with this video is show you that there's hope and reason to celebrate and to rejoice that this is almost over. We have so few compared to what was projected in terms of people becoming infected and dying from this COVID-19. So far less than was projected. So I'm rejoicing in that, as well as rejoicing in this information I'm about to bring you, that I'm going to show you, even what they're reporting, that's still just minute amounts to what they were projecting. But even that is way overblown. And I'm going to show you why. And it's going to give you a lot of hope and a reason to rejoice. So join me.
So, some of the reasons I'm rejoicing and celebrating the new COVID-19 data. One of the main ones is health professionals are now telling us that the COVID-19 numbers are 80 to 90% wrong, meaning false, which makes them unreliable. Yes, I know that's quite a statement, but stick with me. I'll show you why I'm saying that, and I'll show you the professionals that's saying it. So first, one of the buzzwords that has a lot of people panicking and so fearful is this mysterious word, pandemic. So the pandemic definition is an epidemic of a disease that has spread across continents, affecting a substantial number of people. That's all that a pandemic is. That could be 100 people, 1,000 people. The number of infected or dead from a particular disease has nothing to do with the word pandemic. It's just whenever someone hears that word, says, oh, it's a pandemic, it must be horrible, it must be the Black Plague, it's going to destroy the world, it's a pandemic. No, that's not what pandemic means. So first of all, I would like to get rid of that buzzword, pandemic. Don't let that make you fearful and make you panic, think it's the end of the world, because it is not. Next, we have the COVID-19 coronavirus, and virus is key here. There have been thousands of COVID-19 tests performed that weren't even testing for the virus. It was only testing for RNA of exosomes, which are caused by many different things, such as stress, injury, and other illnesses, not only COVID-19. So those types of tests that are testing that way are highly unreliable and are said to be at least 80% false readings, which makes them unreliable again. And next, we have the CDC test kits that were delayed, although when rolled out, gave wrong readings. Many saying that they didn't work, that they were given false readings or false positives. Thus, they didn't work, they were wrong, which means, again, they are unreliable testing. Now, our fourth reason for rejoicing and celebrating this new COVID-19 data, and this is a big one, is that thousands of patients, and we don't know exactly how many, it's hard to get these figures, but thousands and tens of thousands of patients have been diagnosed with COVID-19 merely by their symptoms alone. They did not test them. They just compared their symptoms and diagnosed them with COVID-19. The problem with that is the symptoms for COVID-19 are almost the same as the seasonal flu, the H1N1, swine flu, pneumonia, all these different diseases and pandemics and flus. A lot of them are 99% the same, meaning the diagnosis is far from accurate. It's a judgment call, which makes this type of diagnosing COVID-19, again, unreliable. As well as there are thousands, or again, could be tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of deaths that's been recorded on death certificates saying COVID-19 is the cause of death. And the only testing they did, which was no testing, was based on their symptoms alone, which, as I just showed, is almost identical symptoms as many other illnesses, pandemics, flus. So the reports that we're getting, the numbers of deaths caused by COVID-19 are just highly unreliable. Now, many people don't know about this one either, but the CDC reports, and they state this on their reports, and I'll put that up on the screen here for one of their reports. But their reports, that's the CDC reports, include presumptive, which means assumed, and unverified COVID-19 numbers, whether it's infections or deaths, whatever it is they're reporting, they include presumptive, assumed, and unverified reports. So again, CDC reports on the COVID-19 are highly unreliable. And here's a real shocker, or at least shocked me when I first came across this information. The CDC guidelines, or CDC and several state guidelines, are directing health professionals to falsify death certificates. That is, to list non-COVID-19 deaths as COVID-19 deaths on the death certificate. Do you get that? They are directing the falsification of death certificates. Now, if that don't make the COVID-19 death reports and numbers unreliable, I don't know what does. I could not believe this when I came across it. So to me, this alone, forget about the other 12 things that I found, that I've verified. This alone makes the death numbers totally unreliable, in my opinion. Now, some more good news. No, really, this is good news. So even if you are infected with the COVID-19, the statistics are telling us that 80% of people infected with the COVID-19 have very mild to moderate symptoms, more like the cold or the seasonal flu. And they recover without any professional medical treatment at all, only at-home self-treatments that you would always use for the seasonal flu or a simple cold. And 15 to 19% of people infected with COVID-19 virus have moderate to severe symptoms requiring some professional medical treatment, although many recover without any professional medical treatment, even with the moderate to severe symptoms. So this is really good news. So people can relax and not fear and panic so much, because now we know, even for most people, the far majority here, what is it, almost 95 something percent from mild to moderate to even severe, can treat at home. Most people, unless you're in the high risk and have multiple other illnesses, you can recover just like you recover from the flu or a cold, with the medications you have and treatments you usually do for yourself every winter, every time you get a cold or the flu. So that is very good news and should give everybody a lot of hope. Now, of course, there are the 1 to 3% of people infected with the COVID-19 that have severe symptoms, which do require professional medical treatment. And it's looking around a 0.01% or so of people infected actually die from the COVID-19 alone. The high-risk people who unfortunately die almost always have other life-threatening illnesses, meaning the COVID-19 did not infect them and kill them alone. The COVID-19, just as any other illness would, complicated their illnesses because their systems are already compromised by multiple other life-threatening illnesses. That's the only point here. There's a 0.01% that kills all by itself. So that's very, 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 very small, which again means we have reason to celebrate and rejoice that the far majority of people, somewhere around 99.8%, can all recover from this. So it's not the end-all humanity plague that seems to be projected out there. So that's the good news. We can rejoice, we can recover, we can treat ourselves usually, and in that small fraction of people that can't, our medical professionals can treat them, and the far majority do recover. So that's the good news, and that's what we're celebrating. And that's what should give everybody hope. Now, my last data point that I'm celebrating and rejoicing over is bittersweet. And that is, sadly, many more people are infected with and die from the seasonal flu and other pandemics, diseases, illnesses, and accidents in the United States each and every year, of which COVID-19 is a mere fraction of. So what I mean by that is, and I'm going to roll in a chart here, is you'll look here on this COVID chart, top left is the total confirmed cases as of April 2nd, 2020 at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And there have been around 112,000 deaths worldwide, or at least recorded. Remember, I've been showing you all these different ways that all these numbers have mistakes in them, have assumptions in them, have presumptive numbers in them, directives to mark something a COVID-19 death when it was not a COVID-19 death. So there's just, I've showed you 12 different ways here that these numbers can't be relied on, that makes them unreliable. But with that said, this is what they're saying right now. It's 112,000 worldwide. Okay, so that's the world chart. If we go to the U.S. chart, there's 532 up the top left. The red number is 532,000 infected. And again, this is reported infected. I showed you all the ways that this is unreliable. But over to the right, it shows the deaths. And again, we know about the deaths being unreliable. They're saying 21,000. And again, no death. I'm not saying any death is good, but just being realistic, being mature, being adult about this, just comparing the numbers, 21,000 is being reported. So 21,418 deaths are being reported in the United States. Now, if you look at this chart, and again, all these numbers are coming from the CDC, and I'm giving you links below so you can check it out yourself. So you can see that bottom row is the COVID-19 coronavirus 2020 row, but just above that, the cell outlined in red, we already have 34,200 people who've died in the U.S. alone this flu season, and they are estimating, the White House just said here this last week, it's going to go 36,000 or more just from the seasonal flu. So now, here, just today, there's 21,000 COVID-19. So after all this, after shutting down the country, putting millions of mom and pops out of business, millions of workers out of work, causing all this turmoil, having to nearly bankrupt this country again, putting another 2, 3, whatever trillion, it just keeps going up, that they're having to spend on this. If you look at the numbers, there's nothing to panic over. There's no threat greater than the number of deaths we get from the seasonal flu in one season. And there are far more cases of the seasonal flu. As you can see there, it's, 35, nearly 36 million people are infected with the seasonal flu. And the COVID-19 cases is a mere fraction. I mean, it's not even close. So that should be good news to people that don't know about these numbers. It should really give them hope and says, whew, I can breathe now. I don't have to panic. I don't have to live in fear of walking by someone in the store and they cough on me, or touching a shopping cart and catching this deadly man-killing COVID-19 virus, because it's not. To the 99.8% of people, it is not the man-killing virus that we're all being told that it is. So let's rejoice. This is good news. This gives us hope now. It's not near as bad as we're being told. And it's not near the threat that we feel like it is because of all the negativity across any news station you watch, and coming out of Washington as well, frankly. To me, it's just good news. I am rejoicing. I am happy, and I hope you are as well. I hope you have newfound hope and understand this is not as bad as it seems, and you will live through it. Your family will live through it, and this will all be over soon. Now, if you found any of this information helpful, please comment and like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. And until next time, may everyone have safe and happy travels wherever life leads you.
All I want is for you to be happy. Give me a chance to show that you can be. Well, open your eyes and see the way I see. 'Cause all that I want